So I'm going to cover Unit 2 in this video, the exam for Unit 2. This is summer 2014, so this is the most recent Unit 2 exam. Again, just like with Unit 1, if you want to practice Unit 2 papers, it's best to start from the most recent one and work backwards, because that gives you an idea of what the exams are like as they do evolve over time. Just like Unit 1, this is an hour and 15 minutes. What is a little bit interesting and something you should bear in mind, same as Unit 1, it's an hour 15. Same as Unit 1, it's 70 marks. But with Unit 2, there is multiple choice, but there's only 6 multiple choice questions in Section A. Whereas in Unit 1, you've got 8 multiple choice questions. However, they still say that you should spend 30 minutes on this section. So if you're used to doing multiple choice questions in Unit 1 and you're trying to do 8 in 30 minutes, well, you've only got 6 here to do in 30 minutes. And I would argue it's not that these 6 are any harder than the ones in Unit 1. So if you get good at practicing these multiple choice questions, you can actually save yourself some time, because it shouldn't really take half an hour to do these 6 questions. You should be looking at about 20 to 25 minutes, but that will depend on how much you know, because the more you know, the quicker you can think of the answer. So let's go through these 6 here. Question number 1. It's about Dell computers using lean management called build to order. Lean management is most likely going to lead to, just as you would in Unit 1, you start these multiple choice questions by giving a definition. So I'm going to define lean management. Lean management is the term used for any system of production that a business uses that tries to minimize cost during the production process. So it's a management method that a business uses to try and minimize costs during production. For example, Kanban, Kaizen, just-in-time, total quality management, job enrichment. All of these things are lean management. They all fall under the barrier of lean management. So which of those is most like, what is it going to lead to? The answer is C, greater efficiency, because with lean management, the whole point is that you are trying to make your business more efficient. You're trying to cut your costs so that it runs more efficiently. It certainly wouldn't be leading to higher stock levels. It says here that Dell use build to order, therefore they have very low stock levels. They don't keep excess stock. They only make stock when they're actually going to sell it. And again, it certainly wouldn't lead to long product development lead times. The idea is that you're not trying to spend ages on each item. You make it and it's sold straight away. So the answer is C, you're trying to become more efficient, lowering your cost of production through the use of lean management. Question 2. Richard Branson uses delegation to manage his business. Delegation is most likely to result in. So you start with definition of what is delegation. Delegation is when employees lower down the hierarchy are given more responsibility and more power by managers. What is the point of that? It's designed to empower your workers and designed to motivate them, because you're giving them trust. You're allowing them to make their own decisions. So using delegation is, well, it's the opposite of A, workers lower down the hierarchy making fewer decisions. It's the opposite, they make more decisions. The answer is C, it empowers your employees. So delegation empowers employees because they are allowed to make more decisions, unlike A, where it states that they make less decisions. This is the opposite of what delegation would be. Also, it wouldn't be B. It's not closer supervision of the workforce, because you've now delegated power and responsibility, that you'd have less supervision of the workforce. And it's not D either. Centralized organizational structure means that all the decisions are made by the headquarters, by a small group at the top of the hierarchy. And again, that's the opposite of delegation, because with delegation you allow those lower down the hierarchy to make more decisions. So all of them are the opposite of delegation, except for C. Empowerment is the reason why you do delegation. 3, we've got ourselves a maths-based calculation type question. There will usually always be one of these in the multiple choice bits. So Royal Mail announced a 30% price increase. If the price elasticity of demand is -2, demand will... So we've got a PED question here, price elasticity of demand. They've already told us what the answer is. It's -2. So it's one of those rearrange the equation things. Start by giving the equation itself. Price elasticity of demand is percentage change in demand over percentage change in price. Right, what do we know? We know the price has changed by 30%. It's gone up by 30%. So -2, which is PED, equals X over 30. So something divided by 30 equals -2. Without actually having to use a calculator, you should know that that number, what divided by 30 equals -2, the answer is -60. So the answer is a fall of 60%. -60 over 30 equals -2. So you give the equation, put the numbers in the equation, get the answer -2, that's your marks. And as an aside, what does that mean? If something's -2, that means it is an elastic product. And it always has to be a minus, because all PED answers are always minuses. Question 4, inflation affects us all. Thanks for telling us that. And during 2012, inflation in the UK peaked at 4.2%. Inflation right now is at 0%. It's just good to know that in case you can sort of throw it into your exam. So inflation was 4.2%. All of the following are likely consequences of inflation except... Right. Inflation is the general rise in the price of goods and services within an economy. So as inflation goes up, as it was here 4.2%, that means it means on average everything in the UK is 4.2% more expensive than it was this time last year. So as everything gets more expensive, which of these would not happen? Because it says except. So all of these would happen except for the answer, which is B, a fall in nominal prices. Prices are not falling. Prices during inflation are going up. So therefore, the answer is B on that one. So you define inflation, say that during inflation prices are going up, not down. So the answer is B. There would be an increase in business uncertainty because one of the factors that affects uncertainty for a business, uncertainty in terms of they don't know what's going to happen in the future, one of the things that can affect business uncertainty is things outside of their control. Inflation is outside of a business's control. It's something that happens to an economy. One single business cannot control inflation. They are affected by inflation, but they cannot control it. Right, question 5, nearly at the end. If there are high barriers to entry in a market such as petrol, it is most likely that this will lead to low, and then give the answer. Right, barriers to entry, these are factors which make it difficult for businesses to enter the market. So factors that make it difficult for new businesses to enter the market. And the answer is that would lead to low consumer choice. Why do consumers have less choice if there are high barriers to entry? If there's high barriers to entry, it's difficult for a business to enter the market. Therefore, there will be less businesses in the market. Therefore, there is less choice for a consumer of where they can go and buy their products. So the answer is A. It would not lead to low profitability because there's not many businesses in the market. The ones that are left there might only be a few. It might be an oligopoly with just like 4 or 5 businesses. They will all make hopefully high profits because they don't have to share the market between too many people. It wouldn't lead to low prices because there's not a lot of competition. Therefore, businesses that are in the market can set their own prices because they have less competition. So the answer is A, and the other ones are incorrect. And finally there, let's have a look at question 6. In the first quarter of 2012, the euro fell in value amongst most other currencies. So the euro has got weaker. Which of the following is least likely to be a consequence of the above? Right. So if the euro gets weaker, which of these is not going to happen? The answer is B. The number of French tourists to the UK would not increase. Why? Well, you'd start by saying that the euro, when it says the euro falls in value, this means it gets weaker compared to other currencies. If the euro is weaker than the pound, this means that consumers who come from Europe into the UK will be able to buy less products for the money that they have. Therefore, you're less likely to have French tourists come to London because they will find it really expensive. So instead, they might stay within Europe or go to somewhere else instead. So the answer is B. As the value of their currency goes down, they'll have less money compared to the UK currency, which means they'll be less likely to come to the UK because everything will get more expensive for them. Choose a random one. It's not A, because there may be an increase in UK tourists to Barcelona, Spain, because in Spain they use the euro. If you are a tourist and you go to Spain and you have pounds, you can get more euros for your money. Therefore, it's cheaper in Spain than it was before. So you might have an increase in demand for tourism because it's cheaper to go there. So that leads us to the end of 6. So that's the end of section A. What I would say about this section is generally the questions are not too difficult, but what you'll notice is they do make them a little bit more confusing, because instead of saying what is the right answer, they sort of make it sound like what is the least likely that it will not definitely happen because it will decrease, which is the one that is least likely to not go up. So it's not that the theory is difficult, but I think they are clearly trying to trick you a little bit by kind of asking the opposite. So instead of saying which one will be most affected, it's saying all of these will be affected except for one. So although there's only 6 instead of 8 questions in this section compared to Unit 1, the questions in Unit 2 do seem to be a little bit more tricky in the way they're worded. So you certainly need to make sure that you read the questions fully before you answer them.